Hello, and welcome to the Parkinson's Foundation Wellness Wednesday program, Creative Connections, Art Therapy from a Distance. I'm Annie Long, a Community Program Manager with the Parkinson's Foundation. Thank you for joining us today. If you haven't already, please gather your art supplies such as plain paper, colored pencils, markers, or paints. We'll break out into smaller groups for today's activity. Before we get started, a few housekeeping items from the Foundation. The Parkinson's Foundation hosts virtual events each Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. To learn more and to register, please visit parkinson.org/pdhealth. Tune in next Monday for meditation with Devin Hayes. Devin will be centering the practice around having compassion for ourselves. Learn more and register at parkinson.org/pdhealth. Studies show that singing can help maintain strength in the muscles involved in speech and voice in people with Parkinson's disease. Join us next Wednesday for a fun way to exercise your voice, speech, and swallowing muscles and sing out loud with Parkinson's. To learn more and register, again, please visit parkinson.org/pdhealth. The Parkinson's Foundation provides families with free resources, including our website, parkinson.org, educational books, webinars, podcasts, a hospital safety kit, and our toll-free helpline, 1-800-4PD-INFO, which is staffed by Parkinson's specialists. To learn more about our resources and about our upcoming virtual events, remember to visit our website at parkinson.org or call our helpline at 1-800-4PD-INFO. If you aren't already, I'd like to invite you to join us on camera today to see and connect with your Parkinson's community. You can scroll through and see everyone who's sharing this time with you today. I'm joining from Georgia and would love to know where you are tuning in from. Feel free to share in the chat where you are. And again, welcome to the Parkinson's Foundation Wellness Wednesday program. Before I introduce today's speaker, we'd like to know a little bit more about our audience today. Please take a couple of moments to answer the question, have you ever participated in art therapy? Great, the results are in. Okay, it looks like most of us, I would say the majority, have not ever participated in art therapy. So we're really excited that you're here today and hope that you learn a little bit more about the benefits of art therapy, as well as join us for this exciting project. All right, I'm now delighted to introduce our first speaker, Ashley Hildebrandt. Ashley is an art therapist supervisor at the Indiana University Health Neuroscience Center. She works with individuals with a variety of neurological conditions to facilitate self-expression, develop healthy coping strategies to manage stress, and to improve overall quality of life. The art therapists are members of the Indiana University School of Medicine Parkinson's Foundation Center of Excellence interdisciplinary team, and are working together to develop an exciting new expressive arts therapies program called Finding Your Groove, funded by the Parkinson's Foundation Core Grants. Ashley, we're excited to have you here today to share this creative side of Parkinson's with us.
Thank you so much for having us here today, Annie. We're really honored to have the opportunity to share about the work that we're doing and to represent our Center of Excellence at IU School of Medicine and IU Health. Since most of you have not participated in art therapy before, I'll start with a little bit of background about what we do. As art therapists, we're mental health professionals who help people express themselves through the creative process. Because so oftentimes the things that we think, the things we feel, the things we experience are vague and abstract, and it can be difficult to truly express what we're doing. Through creativity, we can find the words to express ourselves and find new ways to manage what we're dealing with. I'd like to start though by talking a little bit about the new Expressive Therapies program that we're starting through the support of the CORE grant. It's a multimodal program that incorporates art therapy, dance movement therapy, and also Parkinson's choir, just for people to have a space to come together, create, and again, improve overall quality of life. We're here today to specifically highlight one part of our program, and that's our community mural. With COVID, we've had to find ways to adapt, and we're going to actually be doing this now over Zoom. And our mural is based on the art and life of the work of painter Chuck Close. To give you some background, I have a brief presentation to show you. Chuck Close just has a fascinating story of resilience, strength, and adaptation, so that's why we're going this route today. His story starts, of course, in childhood, and he really identifies his experiences with dyslexia as really having an impact that shapes his life in so many ways. As a result, he struggled academically, and he was essentially told by everyone in his school, children and teachers alike, that he would not amount to anything. On top of this, he also had a neuromuscular condition in which he was unable to lift his legs, which prevented him from playing sports and from connecting with his peers socially in that respect. One great strength of his, though, is that he had supportive parents who really encouraged his interest in art. And as a child and throughout his life, he's used art as a way of expressing himself, coping with the stress he experienced, and he also gained confidence in himself and his abilities through this outlet. Unfortunately, when he was 11, he suffered multiple tragedies. His father unexpectedly passed away. His mother, while adapting to being a single mom, was diagnosed with breast cancer. And he also suffered a severe kidney infection that left him bedridden for a year, causing him to miss a year of school, which further isolated him and caused more academic problems. But despite all of this, he was able to turn to his outlets and still keep a positive outlook on life. One of the early formative experiences he identifies as assisting with his art career was going to an art museum with his mom when he was 14 years old. And he discovered abstract expressionism, which is an art movement in which artists convey feeling, emotion, and the unconscious mind through lines, colors, and shapes. He mentions how this really changed his perspective on what art is and what it can do to a person. And he chose to not go this route initially, but he's definitely relied on it and gone back to these roots throughout his career. On top of everything else, Chuck also has a condition called face blindness, which is a brain disorder in which he has difficulty remembering and recalling faces. And through painting, he was able to find that by translating faces to photorealistic painting, he was able to better recall and remember the faces of his friends, family, and other loved ones. He has a very interesting process. He would start with a Polaroid. In this case, this is a self-portrait. He would then take the picture and mark it with a grid. Then he would move over to a 9-foot canvas where he'd create another grid, and he would use this process that he calls knitting, where he would fill in one square at a time from left to right, row by row, until the painting is finished. And for scale, you can see his image here, where he's standing next to the painting. He describes this process of not only applying to himself artistically, but also in his life. If you're overwhelmed by a problem, break it down one piece at a time, and before you know it, you've solved your problem. Unfortunately, tragedy struck again for him in 1988. He was already well established in the art world, famous for his photorealistic paintings, and he suffered a seizure that was caused by a spinal artery collapse, which left him a quadriplegic. After months of physical therapy, he was able to regain partial use of his arms, but he's remained in a wheelchair ever since. He describes his experience of losing his father at such a young age, and knowing that he was able to adapt and cope and work through it as an opportunity to continue pursuing what he wanted to do in life. So he wasn't about to let this stop him from painting. He had to adapt once again, and he's done this by strapping a paintbrush to his wrist. And he also has a mechanized easel that he uses now that's able to raise, lower, and even spin so he can reach the area of the canvas he needs to raise. Because of his paralysis, he also doesn't have the ability to control a paintbrush the way he used to and isn't able to paint in his previous photorealistic style. So he's adapted again, and he's gone back to his roots of abstract expressionism and now uses this format into his knitting technique. He creates series of small abstract paintings that join together, and when you take a step back, you see a large photorealistic image. The image you see on the left is a finished painting, and on the right there's a detail, and you can see up close what each of the images look like. On their own, they're finished paintings, but they join to create this larger image. And when you see a comparison side by side, you can definitely see how inspired he was by abstract expressionism. The image on the right is a painting by Kandinsky done in the 1910s, and his whole interest was doing color studies, seeing how colors interacted to create an emotion. And interestingly enough, Kandinsky also had a neurological condition called synesthesia, in which he could see sounds and hear colors, and his work was also based on that. When you look side by side, you can definitely see the emotion that goes into Chuck Close's work. Throughout his life, Chuck Close has used painting as a way of bringing joy, resilience, and even hope for the future into his daily life. I really think it's a powerful story of how challenges can present themselves to actually be opportunities for personal growth, as long as we're willing to find new ways to adapt. Now I'd like to take an opportunity to introduce the other members of our team. Maggie Gerard, who's also an art therapy supervisor.
Hey there. I'm Maggie, and I also work with Ashley at the IU School of Medicine Neuroscience Center. And I'm so happy to be here with you today.
Hi, I'm Barbara. I'm a graduate student at the George Washington University, and I'm interning at the Neuroscience Center working with Ashley and Maggie. At this point, I think we're going to start preparing for our art making, and we're going to begin that with a brief mindfulness exercise to get centered, forge that mind-body connection. So at this point, I would like to ask you to take a moment to settle into the place where you're sitting. If you feel comfortable doing so, you're welcome to close your eyes. Take a moment to notice your breath. There is no need to control or alter it. Simply notice the air moving through you as you inhale and exhale. Notice the way your belly expands. Notice the way it contracts. Relax the space between your eyebrows. Relax your jaw. Relax your shoulders. Notice your fingertips. Notice the support beneath your feet. You are supported in this space. You are supported in this group. You are supported in this time. When you're ready, bring your awareness back to the group and open your eyes. Notice how you're feeling in this moment, in your mind, as well as your body. In just a moment, we're going to split into our breakout groups to begin our art experiential. And during that time, we're going to be in two groups, one group with Maggie and myself, and the other group with Ashley. In these art rooms, we would like to invite you to explore the here and now through shape and color. What are you thinking? What are you feeling? Are you carrying tension somewhere in your body? Are you noticing an emotion? Is there a story you want to tell? See if you can give it an abstract form on your piece of paper with any material of your choosing. If you need ideas or direction, think of the shapes and colors we saw in the Chuck Close presentation. You will have about 25 minutes for art making, after which time we will combine our pieces to form a group quilt. Our individual unique pieces are going to create a united mural of color and shape. So now let's break into our art rooms and get started. Danielle, whenever you're ready.
Much for sharing, Carol. And what we can do is work with our helpline staff and just make sure that we know of any Parkinson's, maybe Parkinson specific art therapy classes. I know Maggie mentioned before the art therapy site is a good resource as well. I'm sure there are groups meeting. So it's just a matter of us letting us help you connect with those individuals and those groups. So unfortunately, we're at the end of our time today, but I just want to take a moment to thank Ashley, Barbara, and Maggie so much for joining us today and for sharing this valuable and fun experience with our community. I want to thank all of you for being willing to maybe try something new and to join us and to share with us and connect with others. Today's session has been recorded and will be archived on our website at parkinson.org/pdhealth. It's here that you can also find all of the information about our upcoming PD Health at Home programs, including our Mindfulness Mondays, Wellness Wednesdays, and Fitness Fridays. If you had a question today that wasn't answered, please know that we do provide free resources, including our website, parkinson.org, our educational book series, webinars, podcasts, our hospital safety kit called Aware and Care, and of course our toll-free helpline, which is 1-800-4PD-INFO. Our helpline specialists can also help you connect with some art therapy resources in your area. And last but not least, we hope you'll join us for more of our PD Health at Home events just like this one. You can learn more and register at parkinson.org/pdhealth. We hope you'll join us, especially next Wednesday. Today you practiced with art therapy. Next Wednesday, we're actually going to be using our voices. So even if you're not a singer, we hope you can join us for our PD Health at Home Wellness Wednesday, Singing with Parkinson's program. And until then, thank you again for joining us. We hope you continue to stay well and stay safe, everybody. Thank you so much.